I miss that sexy smile.
Hello, Makadii. Bonjour. What's good, everybody? Welcome to the first episode of Like Chalk and Cheese. We are your co-hosts. I am Otni.
And I am Ruby, aka Nora, with two names. So get it together, okay?
Let it be known. All right, girl. What's going on?
You know what? I feel like before we even get into what this episode is about, let's just talk about the name, okay? Because I'm sure people are wondering why Like Chalk and Cheese. You know, for those who've been following us for some time now, you knew us as We Are Shooter, then you knew us as Ru&Ot, and now we are Like Chalk and Cheese. So why did we pick the name Like Chalk and Cheese?
So Like Chalk and Cheese is for the specific podcast. It's about us podcasting, but that's our podcast name. And the reason we chose Like Chalk and Cheese is because you and I are totally two different people with two personalities, two different views of plenty of things and stuff like that. So Like Chalk and Cheese is basically a phrase that shows the difference of how different two things are. And basically we are exactly that, like chalk and cheese.
But that's the thing. Do people see us differently? I think every time people talk about us, they see us as the same person. Like they think we're sisters. They think we have the same personalities. We have the same thoughts, processes. But they don't even know we argue on everything. We disagree about everything. And that's where the Like Chalk and Cheese comes from. We disagree about everything, but then we come together
to an agreement.
Bring beauty to the table.
Yeah,
so
we
quite
definitely.
Interesting.
It's and I guess that's how this whole friendship has basically been based on.
Yeah.
Talking about our friendship. How the hell did we even become friends, man?
Yeah, it's a crazy story. How did we start? We started off. Man, I don't know how many years ago now. 2011?
Yeah.
2011-ish, somewhere there. I've been in the country since 2007. Oh, we live in Canada, by the way. We live in Canada, and I've been in the country since 2007. And then she came around 2011.
That's right.
Yes. And so we met on a bus, right? That's how we met. We met on a bus.
I feel like this story is this is like the 100th time we're telling it, and each time it just gets so much funnier to me.
Because she was wilding out. Okay, y'all need to know this bitch was wilding out. Okay, so this is what happened. We met on a bus. I was sitting at the back. I always sit at the back on the bus.
Yeah.
You know, I know Rosa Parks fought for us to sit everywhere, but I sit at the back because that's where I belong. Okay, I belong at the back of the bus. So she comes on the bus with another Zimbabwean girl that was friends with us at the time. And the Zimbabwean girl comes in, she's a mutual friend, and she's like, oh, hi, Ru. And I was like, hi. And we give each other a hug. And then Otni's kind of standing behind her, awkwardly. And then this girl is like, oh, this is my friend Otni. She's also from Zimbabwe. I was like, oh my God, a Zimbabwean. I'm so happy to meet you. And Otni's like, hi. And then sits down and then faces the front. Because you know how the bus is. Everybody faces the front. So that was our first interaction. So I was like, oh, bitch.
But then you saw that as I was giving you attitude. I always say this.
Is it not attitude?
It's not.
People listening out there, is this not attitude?
I always say this. Whenever I am meeting people for the first time, I always do this thing where I'm kind of reserved because I'm trying to figure out who are you? What is this and what's going on? And so you really took that as I was really wilding out. You took it as I have this attitude and I ain't trying to talk to you or whatever. And I feel like you were talking to our mutual friend anyway. So I was just like, I met you and that's good. Okay, fast forward, we move on to I think a year passed actually. Mm-hmm. And we met again in a store. We call it Superstore here in Canada, Halifax, Nova Scotia to be specific. And I see you again. This time I'm excited.
Yeah, this time. Okay, so tables have turned. Now I'm with somebody else.
Yeah.
So she's the individual now.
Yeah.
So she sees me in Superstore, and then what
happens?
happens?
Super excited, and then I'm like, oh my God, hey, remember me? I'm like, oh my God, because I was so happy to see you. I just come out of residence for university because it's summertime, they kick you out. And I was living in this apartment by myself downtown and hella lonely because I had just come into Canada 2000, because I came in 2011. So this was, I think, 2012-ish maybe. Yeah. And I see you, I'm excited. I'm like, hey! And then you're now oh, hi.
So let me tell you, you guys know what the aisles are like in Superstore. She's walking in our direction and I can see her and I scratch my friend and I'm like, be a bitch to her. We can see her coming excitedly to be like, hello! And I was like, be a bitch.
Like,
this bitch sucks.
honestly, and you gave me like a cold shoulder. So it's one of those, like, we both got to this point where when we saw each other, we gave each other a cold shoulder. Okay, so that was those two initial meetings, and then when we finally found our level plane, what is the situation there?
Well, we didn't even want to be friends. At that point, we had decided that we're not meant to be friends.
No.
And then her brother moves to the city, and her brother is life of the party.
Always.
At the time, I was the life of the party. If you guys knew me back then, I ran this city in terms of parties and all this. So I was the life of the party. Her brother moves to this city, and she's like, oh, she actually messaged me. I don't know how she had my number. We've never actually talked about this.
Yeah, I don't.
How do we have each other's numbers?
And you cannot even ask me how I have your number, to be honest.
Because I had your number too, and I was like, how do I have this?
Maybe I got it from our first mutual friend. Do you know?
Okay, yeah.
Maybe that's how I got it.
So you text me and you're like, oh, my brother's in town and he's looking for people to hang with. I know you guys like to go out. I was like, bet. Give him my number. Let's hang. So me and her brother became really, really good friends.
Yeah.
He actually would have been my best friend.
Somehow we're here.
It's so crazy because
so
him and I
weird.
were so close in the beginning. Like it was, I would go to her house, but not for her. I was going to see her brother because she lived with her brother.
Yeah.
And so I spent every other day with her brother. We used to go everywhere together and she would just be there.
Yeah.
And so eventually I start talking to her, but it wasn't like intentionally like we were trying to be friends. It was just, she was always there.
Yeah.
And so as females, you end up talking, but there was no like, oh, this is the defining moment of us being friends. It was never like that. It was just like, okay.
Until a party happened, a Zimbabwean independence party that happened.
Yeah. Okay. We had a party. You showed up at the party. I realized, all right, she a drinker like me. I bet. we gonna vibe on this. We like alcohol. Let's do it up. We had a huge party. It was a success. And then after that, like we were actually checking for each other, calling each other, texting each other. And that is where the friendship started.
That's where the friendship started.
So this is like end of 2012.
Yeah. And ever since, like, we've been basically like inseparable, literally inseparable, because after that we started working together. Yeah. In so many ways than one.
Yeah. I think a lot of people just see us as, oh, we did like YouTube, but before YouTube, we worked together for a company called Maritime Center for African Dance. We used to teach kids African dance here in Halifax. So we've always worked together.
We've actually always. I'm only realizing that right now as we're discussing it. We've actually always worked together.
We've always had a partnership.
It's just, on some level. Yeah, some shape or form. That's actually really crazy.
Usually it's like, oh, Otni gets a call. Hey, do you want to do this project? And she'll call me. Do you want to join me?
Yeah.
Or I get a call and it's like, do you want to join me?
Yeah, and it's always been like that. But I think the thing that has definitely like made us grow closer together was definitely our YouTube channel, because we constantly had to be in each other's faces and plan together and shoot together and just do like a lot of big things and stuff like that. So yeah, that's basically the gist of how this relationship basically got to where it is now. Now we have just so many other projects under our belt. We do so many other things together, and this is another venture. So this is exciting for us.
It is exciting. And I mean, in any friendship, there's always some stuff that can happen to test the friendship. So we now come to the point of, I'm sure people are wondering, do you guys fight? And we've had these questions in our social medias. Do you guys fight at all? Because your friendship is so authentic. We have had some major arguments. Some major arguments.
Ones where you really would believe that this is the end of it all.
This is the end of the friendship. We've had some major arguments. I think I can count maybe 5.
Yeah.
Maybe 5.
Probably more, but maybe intense ones.
Intense ones where we're like, the friendship is over is probably 5. We argue all the time, but not like intensely. So 5 were a big one. Yeah. But I know Otni doesn't know this, but the part when I thought our friendship was definitely over was when she moved to South Africa.
Really?
Because if you guys didn't know, this girl ran away from our friendship like a pussy.
I feel like we both ran away from the city at some point in time. You can't even.
I was following love. Okay,
oh my
gosh.
It's
a whole different thing. I followed a man. So she ran away first,
ladies. Every time
she ran away first. So this is like 2015, was it?
I think 16? So. 16, probably. 2016.
Yeah. Around the beginning of the year, this girl just up and leaves. No word, nothing. Not like, oh, hey, so by the way, I might be leaving. Just nothing. Just packed up and left the city. And not like she moved to Montreal or she moved to Toronto. No, she went to Joburg, South Africa. Okay? Oh my gosh.
It's really bad. I am this person who once I'm going through like significant things in my life and I'm going through it, I usually like withdraw. And this particular season was a big one. So I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm finna head out. So I'm gonna.
So what bothers me about that is the level of closeness we had at the time. I would have expected her to confide in me and tell me this is how bad shit is and I need to get out of here.
Yeah.
But Otni deals with shit on her own. She don't talk to nobody. And next thing you know, she's gone. So for me, she doesn't actually know that was a very big defining moment in our friendship where I thought that shit was over. Like I honestly was like, I don't know about this friendship. No.
And that's so crazy because I wouldn't have even guessed, because when I was in South Africa, you actually would be the one to like keep in touch with me and
she's bad for that too. Just FYI, if you ever want to be friends with Otni,
oh my god, I'm the bad friend.
No, she doesn't text you. She doesn't call or text you unless you call or text her. Unless you're a man. If you're a man, okay, it's different. But if you're a girl, get out of here.
No, like if
you expect the person to look for you. Me, I must look for you.
But then this is the thing. In that season, I wasn't expecting anybody to look for me. So I think it's a really great thing of you to actually like reach out. Because like you said, when I'm going through things, I'm going through things. So I'm not going to like open up to anybody, talk to anybody, or do anything with anybody. So I think that was pretty dope of you to kind of like continuously like reach out. I think I only realized it like later on. I was like, hey man, that was actually pretty dope of you. Because in the season of the moment that I was in, oh girl, I ain't picking up no phone to talk to no. I'm dealing with some shit. What you mean? I gotta look for you. Yeah, that's crazy to me at that time. But yeah, no, that's actually like I did not know this. This is actually cool.
That was one of the that was a bad ones. Time in our friendship specifically. Like that was not great for me because I was like, I guess because she's a Capricorn, right?
I am. And you're an Aquarius, which makes sense because she just described it. She is that person who, it doesn't matter what it is, you have got to talk about it. Like, what do you mean? Just say it. Let's say it. Let's figure it out if we can figure it out. So she doesn't understand the concept of, what do you mean withdraw? What do you mean like just, keep to yourself? She's rather, when she's actually going through something, she actually, hey, I am going through this. Like you will voice whatever it is, especially like we'll tap into that like later on. But your other big moment of the biggest thing that you went through, like with your son and everything, like you actually voiced yourself and you said, hey, listen, this is what's going on. So you voice whatever tough times you're going through. So that's really big of you. And I appreciate that. I just don't know. I mean, I'm growing at this point. We're both growing. And I think it's something I'm learning now to be like, okay, I guess I should talk to people when I'm in distress. How do I do that? It's so crazy. But basically, that's because we're so different. Yeah.
She left first and then I left and I went to the UK to follow my mans. Okay. Hello. So I followed my mans to the UK, and then so at that point, obviously we're both not in Canada, so the friendship would sort of like dwindle a little bit because she's in South Africa doing her thing, I'm in the UK doing my thing, and then the friendship dwindles. Then I come back to Canada, find out I'm pregnant with my son, and for all of you who know, my son was born very early, so I was in the NICU at the IWK daily. So I'm dealing with my son being in hospital. This bitch shows back up in Halifax. Don't call me, don't text me to be like, hey, by the way, I'm coming back. Nope. One day I'm just sitting in my house, come back from the NICU. I'm exhausted as fuck. It's like 7 p.m. and the buzzer goes off. And she says, delivery for Miss Vududu. And I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, yeah, sure. And I buzz her in and she's holding, what were you even holding?
I don't know, probably something for the
son. Some present for Arno, but you were covering your face. So I'm seeing like a black woman. I could see she was black. But you guys can imagine this. I haven't seen this chick in a year. She's supposed to be in Joburg, South Africa. So I'm not thinking it's Otni in my mind. I was like, I don't know who the fuck this black woman is.
Man, people
walking up my hall
are going to be like, you guys are the weirdest people. Yeah, we are.
She like came in walking up my hall. And it was at the moment, I think she was adjusting the gift because it was heavy, that I saw her face and I was like, what the fuck? You're supposed to be in South Africa. And then she walked in the house and we embraced, and then we just picked it up like nothing.
Yeah, and
like we didn't stop seeing each other for a while.
Crazy of us. Like we really actually just picked up from like nothing actually did take place, which is actually also I think really cool about us. But that's basically how we have seemed to overcome most of the stuff that we do. I think one good thing about us is when we do have a misunderstanding, it's one of those like we realize, okay, we've had a misunderstanding, but we keep it, we keep it there. We keep it pushing. Like we don't carry it with us like, oh, you remembered the last time. Like we don't continue to bring shit up like whenever we resolve something.
But that would not be the biggest misunderstanding we would have. So let's talk about the biggest misunderstanding we have had. Because that was one-sided. That was me going through my feelings being like, okay, you messed it up, you left, whatever. But what was a joint mutual, like, nah, this friendship is done. Like, we're fucked. This is over.
Well, I mean, of course, that's a situation that we both know and we're not about to, like, broadcast it. But it is one of those that... I think that's the one where... That one was, for me, was the one that kind of made it click in my head that, you know what? I'm probably stuck with this bitch for the rest of my life. I'm probably stuck with this bitch for the rest of my life. If we're able to conquer that, then I believe, that made me believe that, okay, yeah, no, for sure. We are definitely probably...
But just so you guys understand how bad it was, we go to the same church and we used to sit together in church. And then when we had this huge argument... We acted like crazy people and sat in different pews.
Children.
Like crazy children.
Acting like children.
And not greet each other in the halls and act like we don't know who the fuck this bitch is in church, okay?
And it's so bad because it's not just me and you, right? Like we have families that are connected at this point. You know what I mean? Like
and our friends wouldn't know who to sit with. So they're like...
making it awkward for everybody.
Okay, do I go sit with Otni? Do I go sit with Ru? And me and her like both have an attitude about it.
God, it's
like
so bad.
Whatever. Yeah, it was really bad.
It was that one was definitely the biggest one. But we resolved. How did we even resolve that one? It was a lunch.
For lunch.
Oh my God! And then we started crying.
Let me tell you how we went for lunch. This is how you know I am the best friend you can ever have.
Oh my God!
Who initiated this lunch?
No, okay, yes, you initiated.
Yes, it was me.
I know because at this point I was the one who was pissed off, right?
But we were both pissed off.
We were both pissed off, but then to the extent of whatever.
Let me tell you something about Otni. Otni, if you're pissed, her pissedness needs to be 10 times your pissedness. That's what happens with you.
It's not.
Yes.
Because for this particular situation, I can fold my tail. Fold my tail is a phrase in our country or whatever. But this one was you know why? And I was just like, girl, because I'm just like, you weren't supposed to, and then you were like, okay. So it was one of those, I was just like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. So yeah, this is why she's saying this is because she wrote a letter.
Not as in an email. Don't get it twisted.
She took a pen and a paper.
Wrote a letter in church. Okay, this was during the service, and I was like, it was like God shined His light on me, and He was like, you need to resolve this issue with your friend. And then I was like in church, and I wrote on my notebook, because in church we always carry notebooks so we can take notes.
Yeah.
In my notebook, I wrote a letter, and I was like, if you think that we can resolve this friendship, then let us go for lunch and talk it out like adults. And then we went for lunch.
Yeah, we went for lunch and then we sat there. We discussed the whole thing. We both put our point of views on the table and like how we both felt about the situation, why we both took the actions that we took and all of these things. So we understood where each of us were coming from. And by the end of it, like we're here having lunch, eating fries and crying. And we're like, yeah, because I love you. And...
We were a hot mess. Let me just tell you guys that. We were a hot mess up in like
Montana.
Yeah,
Montana.
And we had Ano there. So my son is just sitting there confused.
Like looking at us, like what the hell is going on?
So, yeah, that was interesting for sure.
That was very interesting. But that's how we basically like overcame those big issues. And all of this is just to kind of like, bring you guys into our life just so that you know the depth of what this friendship is. It's not just two girls just sitting here. There's a lot of history between us. There's a lot of like things between us and ventures between us. So yeah, that's basically how we resolved that issue. And that's basically how we have come to an understanding that me and you are probably for life, girl. What you think?
I think so, unless something crazy happens and let's say we have an apocalypse and
here we go.
The zombies come down. I don't know this bitch.
Yeah, no, literally, she has made it clear in our friendship that if an apocalypse is to ever take place, and it's good, I like the fact that she's pre-warned me, it's fine, but if an apocalypse is to ever take place, she will leave me behind. She will not even think twice about doing that.
And it's just not her, it's even my children. This is
her
how
family.
serious it
like,
is.
This is how
I
bad.
don't fucks with nobody if the zombies are here.
Yeah.
That is it. We're done. I
This
am
just goes
surviving.
to show you who watches what on television. Yeah.
She's the one who watches things like Grey's Anatomy.
Let's just make that clear right off the get-go. So yeah, no, this is just our preliminary episode. We just wanted you guys to get into a little bit of a glimpse of our friendship and what this podcast is basically going to be. What is this podcast actually going to be?
This is us just talking about topics that a lot of people shy away from, basically, and us bringing it to the table and discussing it and bringing out our different opinions on the matter, and then just coming to a resolution at the end of it. We might not agree at the end, but we'll just be like, this is what people think, let's end it there. So it's just bringing different topics, especially because we are Zimbabwean women who've lived in the diaspora for a while, and we were raised by Zimbabwean mothers. And so when you're raised a certain way in an African society with certain beliefs are important, it's difficult to then sort of like embrace the first world way of thinking. So this is us coming to the table and being like, what do you think of this and this and this? And I'm sure a lot of you will be able to relate to the topics we bring to the table. And we would love to know your opinions on the matters as well. So feel free to always talk to us on social media and tell us how you're feeling about a recent topic.
Whatever episode we definitely bring out. But other than that, like, guys, this is like chalk and cheese. Once again, I am your host, Otni.
And I am your favorite co-host, Ruby, aka Nora. Thank you guys very much for listening to us today. Stay tuned for more episodes every 2 weeks. Thanks so much.